what she thinks day by day after you disappear. Modern Stoic. Sometimes, the hardest part isn't letting go, but learning to start over in silence. Zrenia, when you step back from her life, not out of anger or manipulation, but from a place of calm self-respect, something powerful happens. The absence you create becomes impossible to ignore. The things she once took for granted now echo in her thoughts, louder than before. The beauty of this process is that a woman doesn't always react right away. But as the days pass, her mind works in ways she may not even fully understand, and with each passing moment, she begins to question more than she ever did before. Day 1. She convinces herself this is temporary. It's just a phase. He'll come back. Day 2. Doubt creeps in. Is he trying to tell me something with this silence? Day 3. The silence becomes more personal. Did I mean as much to him as I thought I did? From here, the questions multiply, not because of a dramatic scene or a harsh confrontation, but because you remained composed. You didn't react. You simply withdrew from a situation that no longer honored you. This isn't about playing games. It's about choosing peace over emotional turmoil, clarity over confusion. You remain like a true Stoic, calm, grounded, detached from outcomes that are beyond your control. You didn't chase her, nor did you flee. You simply stopped engaging where your presence was not valued. And this, my friend, is what lingers in her mind. It's this steady, unshakable presence that rewrites the narrative in her heart. In today's discussion, we'll explore the emotional stages she goes through after your silence sets in, day by day. From the initial disbelief to the long, quiet nights when your absence becomes more impactful than your presence ever was. This isn't just about emotional psychology. This is Stoic wisdom at play. You don't need to argue your worth. You don't need to explain yourself. You simply walk away and let time, silence, and truth do the work for you. Let's dive into this powerful journey. Number 1. The Vanishing Act. When you disappear, it's not out of spite or to play games. You're not leaving to punish her, but rather to realign with your own center. At first, she's caught off guard. Your absence is a surprise, a pause she didn't expect, and the silence you leave behind starts to feel unfamiliar. She checks your messages, wondering if she missed something, but there's nothing. Just stillness. What was once predictable, daily conversations, texts, and calls, fades into an echo, and with each passing day, the absence grows louder. At first, she might rationalize it, thinking maybe you're just busy or playing hard to get. But as the days stretch on, doubt creeps in. Where is he? Why hasn't he reached out? She can't quite grasp why the same man who always showed up for her, every text, every word, is now nowhere to be found. But she doesn't yet understand that your silence isn't weakness. It's power. As Epictetus wisely said, we have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak. A Stoic man listens to the silence. He retreats not to punish, but to find clarity and peace. He doesn't seek validation in emotional turbulence. He doesn't respond to every lure or emotional bait. He observes, reflects, and if necessary, steps away, not for revenge, but for his own well-being. In this silence, he remains unmoved. The calmness, the absence of response, speaks louder than any words ever could. By day 4, she begins to feel the space you left behind. It's in the little things, the memes you used to share, the good luck texts in the morning, the unexpected support when her day wasn't going well. These small rituals that once felt constant now feel deeply missed. She might test the waters, post a story, send a subtle flirtation, hoping for a reaction. But nothing. Because a Stoic man, a disciplined man, doesn't chase after breadcrumbs or give in to emotional fishing. He knows that attention is not a right, it's a gift earned through effort. And your stillness, your unwavering calm, turns her curiosity into vulnerability. Now she's not just missing you. She's questioning herself. Why hasn't he folded, she wonders. She expected you to break, to need her, to give in to the pressure. But your silence isn't a weakness, it's a reflection of your wholeness. As Marcus Aurelius said, the best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury. You didn't disappear out of malice, you disappeared out of mastery. By the end of the week, she realizes the truth. You didn't ghost her. You transcended the noise. You didn't need to win her back. You needed to win yourself back. That realization hits harder than any argument or dramatic exit ever could. She didn't lose a man who needed her. She lost a man who chose himself. And that, brothers, shakes her more than anything else. The lesson here is clear. Emotional discipline speaks louder than any words or actions ever could. So, brothers, have you ever walked away quietly and watched what unfolded? Share your thoughts in the comments. Let your silence speak to your strength. Number 2. Echoes of you. When you disappear, it's like a shift in the atmosphere. Quiet at first, but unmistakable. The void you leave behind isn't loud, yet its presence is felt deeply. She begins to notice the silence, because it's not just any quiet. It's the kind of stillness that lingers, the kind that makes everything else feel insignificant. The absence of your voice, once familiar, is now a haunting echo in her life. Your laughter, not demanding attention, but providing calm, was a steady presence she took for granted. You never needed to dominate the space. Your strength lay in your calm, your quiet confidence, and the stability you brought without saying a word. You were like a calm lake, unruffled, deep and reflecting. Now, as she stands at the edge of that silence, longing for the peace you gave, she realizes just how rare it was. The Stoic man doesn't boast about his value. He simply lives it. He doesn't chase attention or demand affection. His peace is a gift, and he leaves when it's no longer appreciated, not from spite, but from a place of self-respect. At first, she might have thought your silence was a game, perhaps a test. But with time, the weight of your absence grows. It's not aggressive or manipulative, but undeniable. Your silence speaks louder than any words ever could. She scrolls through her feed, and your face is nowhere to be found. Her stories go without your reaction, and your inbox remains empty. That's when she begins to reflect. She starts comparing. Other voices, other moments, none of them feel like yours. You weren't just there, you were intentional. You listened, gave without keeping score, and led without trying to control. And now, without you, she realizes you were rare, and rare is always remembered. A man who seeks validation is easily forgotten, but a man who quietly walks away, carrying strength in his stillness, that man stays with her. He stays in the corners of her mind, in moments she wishes she could replay. That's the power of the Stoic way. You didn't disappear out of bitterness. You simply knew your worth. You knew when to stay and when to step away, leaving behind the very silence that she once found comfort in. That silence, now louder in your absence, speaks volumes. So, as you reflect on this, I ask, has your silence ever spoken louder than your presence? Have you ever experienced the power of stepping back instead of chasing? If this resonates with you, take a moment to like this video or share your thoughts in the comments. Maybe even write, "The silent conversation speaks volumes," because sometimes the deepest messages aren't found in words, but in the quiet spaces we leave behind. Number 3. Doubt creeps in. Doubt creeps in, and everything changes. When you vanish from her life, she doesn't notice immediately. She keeps posting, smiling, acting like nothing's wrong. But your silence becomes louder than any argument. Slowly, doubts form in her mind. Did I push him away? Her confident mask cracks, not from anything you said, but because of everything you didn't say. When a man of value disappears, it's not noise that fills the void, it's realization. She starts replaying old messages, searching for the exact moment things changed. But here's the truth. You didn't change. You didn't play games. You simply stopped giving to someone who didn't appreciate it. That wasn't revenge. It was wisdom. The Stoic truth: don't explain, don't chase, don't beg, just withdraw. Seneca said, "He who is brave is free." And now you are free, free from the trap of giving without being valued. You didn't demand anything. You withdrew with calm, clarity, and power. That's Stoic detachment. And in your absence, awareness blooms. Time is teaching her, not as punishment, but as growth. Now the silence you once thought was indifference becomes a mirror. She sees all the times you were there, and now it's too late. Your absence speaks louder than any words could. You've become the question she can't stop asking, but the answer isn't yours to give. It's hers to find. A Stoic knows true power is in restraint. You don't seek validation. You are the clarity. Now, without saying a word, she's feeling what you always carried, the effort that went unnoticed. Your absence is the loudest presence she'll ever face. Stand in your silence. Own it. Don't return just because she noticed. Let her grow. This is how strong men lead, with dignity and peace. If this spoke to you, like, comment, and say, "My silence is power." Subscribe if you're ready to rise as the man who doesn't need to explain himself. This isn't revenge. It's reclaiming your throne. Live it for you. Number 4. Attention shifts. She starts posting more often. A fresh selfie here, a cryptic quote there. It's as if she's trying to fill the silence, trying to convince the world, especially you, that she's fine. She's texting her friends non-stop, booking her weekends, staying busy, acting as if nothing's wrong. On the surface, it seems like she's moved on, like you never even crossed her mind. But this is where the wisdom of Stoic philosophy cuts through the illusion. People often hide their deepest wounds behind the loudest noise. Yes, she's busy. She's surrounded by distractions and constant activity, but there's a quiet space inside her that she can't fill. And in that space, your absence echoes, resounding louder than anything she can mask it with. You're not texting her. You're not chasing after her. You're not playing that emotionally exhausting game of validation that so many men fall into. No, you're different. You've anchored yourself in self-respect, and your stillness is far more powerful than any of the noise she surrounds herself with. He who is brave is free, Seneca once said, and this is where your bravery shines, in your restraint. You didn't disappear to play games or to manipulate her. You walked away because you understand your worth doesn't need to be constantly validated. That's what shakes her to the core. She cannot fathom a man who doesn't need constant attention to feel important. Your calm demeanor wasn't just an act, it's a discipline, a lifestyle rooted in meaning, not emotion. You're not cold, you're not indifferent. You simply refuse to engage in the performance of constant drama for someone who failed to see the value of your quiet strength when it was right there for her to hold. She'll check her story views, wondering if you saw that post. She'll post more cryptic quotes, hoping it stirs something in you. But it doesn't, because you've risen above the back and forth drama. You've chosen to live by principles, not impulses. Marcus Aurelius taught us, the best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury. In your case, your best revenge, if you even want to call it that, is to not play the emotional game anymore. You've stopped needing the scoreboard. While she distracts herself with the noise of life, she can't escape the question that quietly creeps in during the still moments. Why doesn't he come back? And that silence, the very thing she thought she could escape, becomes a mirror. It forces her to face not just who you were in the past, but who you are now. The man who brought peace, not chaos. The man who offered presence, not pressure. You didn't need to prove anything before, and you don't need to prove anything now. Your absence isn't a punishment, it's self-preservation. It's the conscious choice to seek peace over performance. Men, understand this. Your silence is not weakness, it's wisdom in action. It is a declaration of your value, a message to the world that you've stopped performing and started living on your own terms. Real men don't run from their emotions, they master them. So stay grounded, keep building your peace, because what she's missing isn't just a man, it's a presence that can't be replaced. And that my brothers is something no selfie, no quote, no distraction can ever replicate. If you've ever experienced this kind of quiet strength, I want to hear from you. Share your story in the comments below. Or if you're walking in that silence right now, simply type, "My silence speaks for me." Let's show the world what true Stoic power looks like. Number 5. Memory lane becomes a trap. When the quiet of the evening descends, she finds herself drawn into the past, not by choice, but because the silence amplifies your absence. She walks down memory lane, revisiting moments that once brought her joy, but now they are tinged with sadness. That song you sent her, once a soundtrack to your shared moments, now plays with a different rhythm in her heart, a reminder of the connection that's now lost. The inside joke, once a spark of laughter that only the two of you understood, now echoes in her mind like a ghost of warmth long gone. And your voice, so steady, so familiar, the way you used to say her name with care now haunts her thoughts, replaying in her mind with an intensity that she can't escape. These moments that once made her feel cherished now serve as reminders of what she took for granted, what slipped away quietly while she wasn't paying attention. It's in these moments of reflection that memory shifts from being a source of comfort to becoming a snare, a trap of nostalgia. The joy has faded, replaced by a subtle but undeniable sadness. There's no reply to her thoughts anymore, no shared smiles, no presence, only the echo of you. As she replays the scenes from your shared past, you have already stepped off the stage, moving on with your life, a life now shaped by intention rather than by nostalgia. This is where Stoic wisdom becomes key. A Stoic man does not linger on what has passed. He doesn't deny the value of memories, nor pretend they were meaningless. Instead, he honors them for what they were, moments of connection, beauty and significance, and then, with discipline, he lets them go. Not out of resentment or cold detachment, but with the deep understanding that clinging to what's ended prevents growth. Holding on to the past becomes a betrayal of the person he's becoming. He doesn't carry those moments as burdens, he carries them as lessons, not etched in regret, but in wisdom. For her, it's a different story. She's just beginning to realize the true meaning behind the small, seemingly insignificant gestures you made. The way you listened, not out of obligation, but as an act of love. The way you were consistent, offering quiet devotion. The way you noticed things that others overlooked, showing her she mattered. It's only now, in the silence left behind, that she understands the depth of those simple acts. She starts to trace the shift, searching for the moment when the warmth between you turned into distance, trying to find the turning point. But a Stoic man doesn't linger at the edge of past chapters, hoping to be missed. He doesn't wish for her to carry the weight he once bore. He moves forward, not as an escape, but as a conscious choice. Every step he takes is rooted in the lessons he's learned and the values he refuses to compromise. Modern life is full of distractions, tempting us to look back, to revisit what once felt safe. But for a man grounded in Stoic principles, clarity is his guide. The past is not a place to dwell, it's a place to learn. While she is trapped in the nostalgia of what she had but never fully appreciated, you walk with certainty, not out of malice, but out of strength. You don't carry bitterness, you carry balance, because true power lies not in being remembered, but in being transformed by experience. So, with unwavering calm, you continue forward, clear in who you are, clear in what you offer, and absolutely clear in what you deserve. This isn't heartlessness, it's a higher perspective. It's the quiet strength of a man who chooses growth over grief, evolution over emotional entanglement. In the end, while memory lane may trap her, you, unshaken and wiser, walk the road ahead, free and refined by your experiences. All right, my friend. Thanks again for being here with me today. Remember, what we talked about isn't just theory, it's real-life wisdom. When you pull back and go silent, you're not playing a game. You're choosing peace. You're choosing clarity. And that choice? It says more than any words ever could. My honest advice to you is this: don't chase chaos. Don't try to force someone to understand your worth. Let your silence speak. Let your calm presence do the talking. Because a man who knows his value never has to raise his voice to prove it. Stay grounded, stay strong, and most importantly, stay true to yourself. Take care, brother. Until next time.